What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So today we got another episode of This Week in Warframe, where we go over the entire weekly reset and basically what you can expect as a Warframe player this week. And you actually have a pretty big event coming up this upcoming Thursday for Prime Resurgence. We'll be going over that today. And before we go over this stuff, though, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. I appreciate all support recently, guys. Also, I'll be live right after this video goes up on the live stream channel, grinding out this weekly recess. If you want to come stop by, check out the grinding, or just maybe run some missions with me, come on, stop by. All right, let's hop right into it with the first weekly reset item at Teshin. I don't know if he has an Umber Forma, but I realized the other day I actually messed up my Twitch drop, and I did not get my Umber Forma Twitch drop from their stream, so that's kind of a bummer. We got a Shotgun Riven mod at Teshin for 75 Steel Essence. We don't know if that new arm cannon will be a rifle or a shotgun, but shotguns are usually pretty good in this game, so there you go. That's your weekly item at Teshin. Now, as far as the event stuff this week, if you have been paying attention to the Prime Resurgence rotation, like what you can get for Regal Eye and all that right now, you might remember that the last chance week starts this Thursday on February 1st. And what that is going to entail is that it's going to be including Rhino Prime and Nyx Prime returning, but also every other Prime Resurgence that's been from this rotation. So we're talking Ivara, Oberon, Saren, Mesa, Hydroid, like a bunch of stuff is all going to be here on Thursday. So you're going to have a lot of options on what you want to get, and that will be here for another 2 weeks until February 15th. So besides that, I don't really think there's much else going on that's like big fancy stuff this week in Warframe. I think that the Star Days event is going to start next week, but I wouldn't really call it an event. It's more like a holiday vendor where you can get the Angel Wings ephemera and all that. So moving over to Archides to see what we got at Archides. This stuff does rotate weekly. Some of this is daily, though, just to let you know. Like this Arcana here, the secondary artwork, that is daily. All right, but for the weekly stuff here, we got a Pistol Riven mod for 15 Pathos. We actually got two Pistol Riven mods for 15 Pathos. We got a Forma Blueprint for 10 Pathos, 5,000 Cooper for 10 Pathos, and 20 Pathos for an Exilus Weapon Adapter. At least it's not a blueprint. It should be fully built when you get it. But yeah, still 20 Pathos for that. So if any of this stuff is worth it to you, go for it. Pistol Rivens are pretty cheap plat-wise. All right, but as far as your Incarnons and Deviri rotations, that's the stuff that people more care about nowadays. Also, guys, if you did not watch the dev stream recap video, they are adding in Shard Fusion, another kind of Shard Fusion. You will be able to turn 4 normal shards into 1 Tau Shard going forward. So no more RNG involved for that part. You'll be able to actually directly get a Tau Shard at a certain point. Speaking of Tau Shards, the Archon Hunt is the blue Archon Shard. So if you get these, you can make these green shards, or you can make them purple shards, which are really good. It's the Owl Archon. The mission types are Sabotage, Excavation, and the Final Boss Showdown. Pretty standard stuff for an Archon Hunt here. I have a 20% drop rate for that shard. As far as your Deviri stuff, though, for the normal path, we have Mesa Normal, Chroma Normal, and Atlas Normal. I'd probably say to go for Atlas here because the way you farm Atlas is like a rail or Arcwing boss fight. And a lot of people give me complaints about how they don't like that, so I'd probably go with that one if I were you. But there is also Mesa Normal that comes from like Alan V keys, I think it is, on Eris. But as far as like the most annoying to farm, I get a lot of people saying Atlas is the most annoying to farm. Keep in mind, his helmet is not extremely useful. Mesa's helmet is much better. But yeah, as far as the most annoying to farm, probably Atlas, just because Arcwing boss fights. I don't think it's hard, but people tell me it's hard. They think it's hard, so that's what I'd probably recommend you go for, either Mesa or Atlas there. For the Steel Path, let's see what we got. Okay, so we're on week 7 here, the Stalker week. And just a reminder, if you have not played in a while, if you are rank 9 Opportunity Intrinsic, you can go for this stuff instead of Incarnons if you prefer that, if you already have all the Incarnons. But for people that don't have all the Incarnons, let's go over what these do. So we have the Xylock Incarnon. Now, there is a Xylock Prime now, and this is technically a pretty good gun, but it's mostly single target. The Incarnon form will make it do a radial heat charge shot, and it feels worse than the normal shot, honestly. So it's more one of those Felarks kind of Incarnons where it's like, all right, just use the primary shot. The Incarnon shot is like actually worse. But yeah, if you just use the primary shot, it can kill level 10,000s in one shot, technically. It's got good slash weighting. You get a good nice impact ribbon on this, too. It's just a single target pistol at the end of the day with good slash proc viability. If this is something that you're interested in, it will definitely upgrade the stats of the Xylock Prime normal, but yeah, it's still the Xylock Prime at the end of the day. So not exactly a top choice, if you ask me, but still decent. The Siberian Carnon, Yeah, I still don't know if this has a special attack. It says it creates a cold radius with heavy slams, but yeah, like, I seriously don't even notice that because this thing does a good amount of damage. It's got built-in cold. I've got some cold synergy Incarnons here too. Just basically a really hard-hitting hammer that you can make a viral build on pretty easily with the built-in cold. So on a Toxin Moderate, viral, and that can do pretty good against unarmored enemies. That being said, it does not really have a special attack as far as I'm concerned. When you're in Incarnon form, heavy slams create cold, and then the rest of the stuff is just standard Incarnon things. 10% parkour velocity. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but for using it on Frost for like fashion frame reasons, the gigantic piece of ice on a stick, it makes sense here. So it's a decent one. I'd probably say these two are like the ones you could definitely hold off on for now, unless you just really want to justify the fact you farmed all that cryotic for the side beer, which is why I got this pretty quickly. The Dread Incarnon is a very similar Incarnon to the Paris Incarnon. These become railgun arrows, chop down an entire hallway with one shot. Built-in heat damage, very good crit, and it has some synergy. This one right here, Stalker's Resentment. Increased damage by 50. Also, when you have the Hate and the Despair equipped, hits increased damage by 10. Also increased fire rate, second to 5 times, resets on missed shot. I've tried this set bonus before, like the Stalker set bonus with the Dread, Despair, and Hate. It just doesn't seem worth it. I'd say probably just go for Hitman's Opportunity instead. But yeah, a powerful enough weapon. If you want to upgrade your Dread you got when you're a new player to an endgame version, here you go. So yeah, railgun arrows, pretty good there. Despair Incarnon, it's actually more rare than the Dread, drop rate-wise. These two weapons, the Hate and the Dread, or the Hate and the Despair, are much more rare than the Dread, drop rate-wise, from the Stalker. But as far as what these do, once they go into Incarnon form, they become delayed explosion embedded heat damage, like mini kunai explosion things. It's really cool. It's very good. It's surprisingly good against acolytes, actually. But most people don't actually use this that often because it doesn't have a ton of ammo in the Incarnon form, and also for AoE we have better choices, and then for single target we also have better choices too. Like the kunai is better for single target. This is more AoE than the kunai, so that's good. But yeah, we have such good AoE stuff. I don't really use this very much. And not to mention, it's not a great condition overload procer either. It's mostly damage focused. So if you have the Despair, like because it dropped on the Stalker, you should probably go for it because they do hit really hard. But also, like, this is a very rare weapon, and we have a lot of things that can replace what it does. But yeah, still really good. Still one of the best ones this week. The Hate Incarnon is definitely the best Incarnon this week, as it has really good damage already. It had really good damage before the Incarnon. After the Incarnon, the light attacks will release like a fire wave, or a fire projectile that can proc condition overload, can do some good damage. It's got a lot of heat damage built into this scythe. Really powerful. Very good for high-level enemies, too. So I'd say if you have the Hate Scythe, go for it as your #1 option. If you don't have the Hate Scythe, you might even want to go for it anyway, for eventually when you do get the Hate Scythe, because you could have the Incarnon adapter in your inventory, even if you don't own the weapon. So keep that in mind. It might be not as fun, but I mean, look at these options, really. Like, if you don't have the Despair, you don't have the Hate, you could pick those up, and then once you eventually get them to drop from the Stalker, hopefully it happens, you can install them right away and be excited for that. So as far as my #1 and #2 suggestions, it's definitely going to be the Hate and the... it's the Hate is #1, and whatever else is #2 for you. Like, if you have the Despair, I guess you could go for that. If you haven't tried the Dread out, go for the Dread. If you only have the Xylock out of all these weapons, of course, maybe go for the Xylock. It's not exactly the most exciting, but it's serviceable. So, yeah, it really comes down to what you guys have. Because, I mean, this takes 30,000 cryotic. This is a 5% drop rate. This is a 5% drop rate. You might end up going with the Dread and the Xylock, because that's all you have this week. But yeah, either way, guys, those are my suggestions. Get whatever you have, and as far as the hierarchy of power, Hate is #1 on here, and the rest of the stuff is whatever you have. So that's your Incarnon rotation. Let's go take a look at Call and the Nightwave. And like I said, guys, now that we're getting the Shard fusion thing, you might start wanting to do Call more often. Let's just put it like that. Because these shards from Chipper that could never become Tau Shards, now you have a way to make them into Tau Shards. If I was to buy this, so like let's say they added the 4-to-1 thing today. If I bought this shard, I'd be even closer to another blue Tau Shard. So getting the normal shard from Chipper every week is going to be more worth it to people that want these Tau Shards. So they did change call missions to make them less terrible, just to let you know. I'm not trying to like convince you to do a call mission, but if you do want to get all the shards you possibly can, might be the time now. They finally added that fusion system we've been requesting since Shards came out. Alright, for the call mission, after we talked about how you should be starting to do these probably, we have Sneaky Sabotage. You've been doing every call mission ever, which you probably weren't. We have Complete the Mission Without Dying or Becoming Veiled. Also, remove 5 Veils using the Veil Breaker. Reminder, these guys, it will not be a Grenier Marine in this mission. It will be a Fortuna-like person. Find and open 3 hidden caches. Call, go fast. Complete this within 15 minutes. Thankfully for this one, it's the shortest mission, so that'd be pretty easy. Complete the mission without being spotted by a deacon. And also, stun 5 deacons. What are these challenges? So I have to stun a deacon 5 times without being seen? That's a bit goofy. I didn't even know that could be a combination of challenges, but okay. Well, I guess we'll see how this goes on stream later tonight. But yeah, that's your call mission. So you can get over a shard worth of stock in 1 week, because you can also pick up the stock boxes now too. So pretty cool there. As far as your Nightwave, there's no rush on this, guys. The Nightwave is not going anywhere. They will give us at least 2 weeks notice before the Nightwave goes away, and it's not going away anytime soon. I'm guessing like a couple extra months at least on this Nightwave. So going over these challenges, we got the first weekly, Ancient Obelisk. Activate 3 Requiem Obelisks on Deimos. They have set spawn locations, so it's not too hard. Just going to take you about a couple minutes there. Shoot it with your operator amp to activate this. Kill 100 enemies with a necromech. You could probably just do these both together. Activate the obelisk, then activate your necromech and kill the enemies near the obelisk with your necromech. Kill 1,500 enemies is the first Elite Weekly. Wait a second. Elite Weekly. So we have a kill 500 enemies permanent weekly and a kill 1,500 enemies elite weekly. We are very good at solving problems here in Warframe. Just, kill enemies. You will literally get these both done at the same time, so that's pretty cool. And then also the other elite weekly is Sortie Expert. Complete 3 different sorties. I don't believe the Archon sortie counts this, unfortunately. So this should require 3 days of logging in if you want to get this elite weekly done. Yeah. And as far as your permanent weeklies, they don't change. It's kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 enemies. Don't forget to do your Netracells and things like that for your all other weekly stuff. We don't really cover Netracells in this video because I don't really have any random rotating stuff per week. Okay, we got a lot of stuff this time in the Nightwave store. So Nightwave store, evergreen stuff at the top. Gyre Automaton helmet there, pretty cool if you like Gyre. We got a Wukong helmet, number 2 most popular frame in the game. We got a Citrine helmet. Look like we had just one Citrine helmet, looks like. And then, Stynex has a lot of helmets for some reason. Okay, but as far as the stuff in the Nightwave store for mods, we have Efficient Beams to Convectrix. If you are looking to use a Convectrix weapon, you need to have this mod. It is a must-run mod, no questions asked. It only will consume ammo from your magazine while the weapon is dealing damage. That's a pretty big deal, as this thing can shoot through ammo. And also gives you a massive stash hint increase. So very good there. If you're using a Convectrix weapon, grab that mod. Bursting Mass with the Mutalist Quanta is also probably worth it if you want to use that thing. Not that I really do it, but it's going to make it where the AoE of the alt fire will become better. So yeah, there you go. As far as the aura mods this week, Sniper Scavenger, Energy Siphon, and Rejuvenation. And Energy Siphon and Rejuvenation are okay. Energy Siphon is definitely better than Rejuvenation to me. As far as your Mastery Fodder, we got the Plasma Sword and the Dark Sword. And then for Conclave Augments, we got Double Tap the Latron. This does work on the Latron Incarnon. Skull Shots for the Viper, giving infinite ammo and headshots. Brainstorm the Grakata, giving infinite ammo and headshots. And Power 3 for Ivara, making you shoot 3 arrows instead of 1 with her quiver. The Double Tap on the Latron's pretty nice. I just don't usually choose to run it. It's a little bit annoying to keep stacked, in my opinion. Alright, so that's your Incarnons, your Nightwave, and the like. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Invigorations in the back, so we can... So that one guy can say, hey, did you know that these are random per player? Hey, hello, person that says that every week. I saw you last week. Ooh, what do we have here? Okay, so we have these Invigorations. These are random per player. If you want to get access to this, you can buy the market, or you can buy the Invigoration segment in the market for 300 plat. It also includes the helmet segment. Or if you want to grind this out in game, go to the Deimos Necrolisk Syndicate and get the rank 3 and rank 5 for these items. So... let's see what we got in the random buffs per week. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Wasn't expecting that one. By the way, I did not use the Gyre Invigoration last week, guys. I totally forgot to. But for this, I might... Wow. Okay. 200% increased ability strength and 75% increased ability efficiency for Mirage. Well, looks like I'm getting invited to an arbitration. Jeez. Okay, so massive damage buff for Eclipse. Massive damage buff for her illusions. Just good. And I'll be able to cast abilities constantly, too. So that's nasty. And for a frame that likes those stats, too. Very cool. Moving on to Protea. Okay, this one's less exciting, but whatever. Increased secondary damage by 250%. And immunity to all status effects. Pretty good, but yeah, I'll definitely be playing Mirage this week and not Protea. Then for Grendel, you got 100% increased ability range and 1,000 extra health. I would call these pretty good Invigorations this week, besides the fact the Mirage one's super amazing. This Grendel one's pretty decent too. I mean, give him more barf range, give him more health. he's got a lot of health already. So yeah, Arcane Grace will scale quite nicely on that. So I'll see you guys next time. Hope you found this video fun and helpful. If you have any other comments you'd like to, feedback you'd like to give on these videos, I would love to hear it, guys. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys on stream very soon. Appreciate all the support. Take it easy. Peace.